Voice FM.
We're joined today by Hollyoaks Corey dancing on ice star Chris Fountain.
Hello.
You are currently starring in the stage adaptation of RainMan.
Yes, arrived in Southampton yesterday. We were in Theatre Clwyd in North Wales before that.
Wow, that's a long
So it's
journey.
a long, yeah, it was about 4 hours on the train.
Yeah, long journey.
Slept most of it.
Yeah, why not? So, how are you doing? How are the shows going?
Great. It's been an absolute joy so far.
Yeah.
It's been every theatre that we've been to. It's been really well received, and I've done other shows where people kind of come up and oh yeah, great show, but
Yeah.
people are really taking the time to come out of their way and just tell us how much they're enjoying it. And I think, especially with the subjects in the show, like with autism and stuff, we're kind of encountering a lot of people that are affected by that,
Yeah.
whether it be them themselves having autism or family members or children. So we're getting some really good quality feedback, and it's nice. I mean, that's why we do it at the end of the day. So yes, it's been great.
Absolutely. So, obviously you touched on the autism sort of thing there. So, for people that aren't maybe familiar with the movie,
Yeah.
what's RainMan about?
Well, my character Charlie is not particularly very nice. I mean, you've seen the show.
I've seen the show, yeah.
But to put it in a nutshell, Charlie's this kind of wheeling dealing businessman, like really brash and aggressive and just not particularly caring and very nice person. And he finds out that his father's passed away, he had a lot of money, and he automatically thinks, oh great, I'm going to get loads and loads of money now. Which is not the case, because it turns out that he has a brother that he never knew he had, and then it also transpires that this brother is severely autistic and in an institution. And the father has left basically all the money with his brother. So this doesn't go down well with Charlie. And his kind of way around this is, right, well, I'll go and find this brother and I'll kidnap him and basically keep him until they give me half the money. But at that point, he realises that Raymond, it was a big part of his childhood growing up, and he used to sing to him and all this, and it kind of, all this stuff that he thought was just imaginary and never happened, it actually was real. Yeah. And then you really see the bond between Charlie and Raymond grow between these scenes when they're passing from hotel to hotel, and it completely, that's one of the reasons I play the character so aggressive and horrible. I want everyone to really dislike me at the beginnings, because when he does realise that Raymond's his brother, it's such a transformation. It flips, and you see a completely different side to Charlie, and then they kind of go on this road trip, and I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, it's a story of two brothers essentially, like learning about each other, and the story, the journey for Charlie, for my character, is fantastic for me to play.
It's a great role.
It's probably the most challenging and tough role I've had to play in my career to date so far.
I mean, physically and mentally, you shout an awful lot in that, so it must be quite exhausting for you, because you do spend quite a large proportion.
Pretty much the whole show, yeah. I think I have about maybe 4 minutes off stage in a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, when I got the script, I was a little bit like, oh my
God,
there's a lot of words. Yeah.
I was saying to my husband when we went to watch it last night, because obviously the scenes with you and Raymond, because he doesn't really talk a great deal.
Of course.
It's like almost like you're doing a 2-hour monologue.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Charlie is the kind of the engine of the show, and he kind of makes the show run. Yeah. Really, and kind of following him from place to place and stuff. But it is challenging, because usually you think when you're doing a play opposite someone for 2 hours, you kind of have a lot of stuff to do with each other, which we do, but also because of Raymond's autism, he never looks me in the eyes, which is a quite an interesting thing as an actor, to not have your opposite looking at you the whole show. I can't touch him at any point, so I've got to be very careful not to just go, all right, mate, because if I do, he will go mad and he'll start hitting himself, which is you've seen in the show, and he does that if you ever touch him. And his lines are all either yeah or I don't know. Yeah. So as far as me picking up my cues, I have to be like really on it, like mentally, just because in any other situation that I've worked in, someone else's lines will have a bearing, they'll kind of prompt what you say, because he doesn't say that much. Yeah. I just have to know exactly what I'm doing.
You've kind of got nothing to react to,
exactly,
so you've got to just sort of bring it yourself.
Which is really testament to Adam, who's playing Raymond at the minute. We started rehearsals together because Paul's not been very well. So we've been doing it together from the start so far. So we've kind of found a really nice rhythm now. So it's not necessarily the words that are prompting what I'm saying, it's the rhythm of how we say things and where we are on the stage and stuff. So it's challenging, but I'm absolutely loving it.
I can see that you're absolutely loving it.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks I started to lose my voice, because
Because you shout so much.
Because I shout so much, but I think like it's. I was worried about maybe being too shouty and just annoying the audience, but I think with that character, it's essential to play that because he is, like I said, he's brash and he's aggressive. But I've like started to warm up a lot better now and taking care of my voice. So
yeah, that's cool. So moving on to sort of other stuff, you've obviously done theatre and you've done TV. So what are the biggest differences apart from obviously having an audience to kind of, react to what you're doing?
It's very different. I mean, a lot of people have asked in the past like what I prefer and which I would rather do, and I don't really have a preference really. I mean, because I've done most kind of mediums of being an actor, like I don't really want to limit myself by saying I prefer one or the other. But as long as the part's good and it's something that I'm passionate about, then I don't really mind. But as far as differences are concerned, like obviously I was in Hollyoaks for 7 years, Coronation Street, like. The schedule of soap is just relentless. Like you're doing, can be up to 8 scenes a day, like 5 days a week, because they've got like 5 episodes a week. So you've got the turnaround is so quick. You don't have time for.
It's not filmed in order, is it?
No. There's nothing particularly filmed in order. You don't. It's rare that you get rehearsal time. You just kind of turn up and you have a little bit of a moment on set, but you don't really get like a 2 week. Well, to be fair, with RainMan we only had 2 weeks rehearsals, which was pretty short for what it is. And also, it's just about retaining lines. Like with soap, you do 8 scenes in a day if you're in the whole day, obviously. But then the next day, those scenes are done, and you never have to think about them ever again. Like then you're doing something different. Whereas with this, 200 pages of script that I have to know and retain and keep for. But I mean, once you get into like a groove of it and you've kind of found the rhythm, it's all right. But at the early stages, when you're trying to remember it, especially with all the lines I've got in this, it's tough. And because, like I said before, when I mentioned that, like what Raymond would say would prompt what I would say, and it's because you have to really pick like your brains because he just says I don't know, and this like I have to really be like switched on. Because otherwise, I could easily drift into another scene where he says exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
So it's challenging, like mentally, to do that. But I was a bit nervous about it at first, but it's kind of I feel like I'm really achieving something with this because I've wanted to play lead in a play for a long time, and I was always like, would I be able to do it? And I've watched people do like, leads and gone, I think I could do it. And then like this, now I am doing it, and it's been really well received. So it's kind of like I feel like I've really like.
You are absolutely, I can tell you are absolutely loving it. You're really passionate about it. It's great to see. I actually asked some people if they had any questions for you. Okay. So I have a few, mostly from the same person. She literally bombarded me with them. So you had some great storylines in Hollyoaks and Corrie. She wanted to know what your favourite was. That's Sarah that's asked those questions.
Okay. It's so difficult to pick. I mean, I was so fortunate in Hollyoaks because I started when I was 15, so like I was literally fresh out of high school, and I started off as this kind of like bad boy, and it was horrible, and then just went. It's like there's a tendency with soaps, like if you're a bad character, you're a bad character, and that's kind of how it goes. Because I kind of grew up within the show, like it kind of took me like on all these different journeys. One minute I was horrible, then I kind of came, then I went to rehab and came back, and I was nice again. But I mean. One standout one was the Justin and Becca storyline when I slept with my teacher, and that actually it was at a time where Hollyoaks we didn't really ever win anything at the Soap Awards. Like we never we kind of go there, but we never really expected to win anything. And that when that storyline won Best Storyline, it kind of kick-started Hollyoaks, and then we started to actually win stuff. And when we turned up to the Soap Awards, it was like, oh gosh, we might actually have a chance. And then I kind of won a few other things after that, which was amazing. But Justin and Becca's storyline was great. And then in Coronation Street, I had a storyline where Terry Duckworth came back, which was great. And my character was with Michelle Keegan at the time. And it was all the kind of upheaval of that. And I mean, I've enjoyed pretty much everything I've done. Really, I'm still like I enjoy my job, and if you get great storylines to accompany that, it's
I think fantastic. If you enjoy your job, you never actually work a day.
Exactly, yeah.
You mentioned then, you touched on you were 15 when you started. And Sarah also asked me to ask how you dealt with all the attention you got, because you got a lot of attention.
Yeah, I mean, it's
got to be difficult.
At the time,
essentially.
At the time, it didn't really have an effect, because I was just, like I said, I came straight from high school into this crazy old world. And because I was working at Hollyoaks and I was living in Liverpool and I was surrounded by all the other people who was in Hollyoaks, I didn't really. It was great, and there was some weirdness about it as well. But like, it's more now when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, that was pretty intense. Like it was to be that age and just be everyone know who you are and recognising you everywhere you go was pretty intense. I mean, at the time I was just like, because I was so young, I was just like, oh, this is great. And, when I look back now, I'm like, wow, that was pretty intense. Yeah.
She did go on to ask if you wanted her number, but I'll leave that for you. You did dance on the ice.
I did.
Do you still ice skate?
I can. I haven't skated for a while now, but I like to think that if I was give me half an hour to get my feet back together, I'd be able to get on. I actually went to the new studios a couple of weeks ago because in this show. Well, like you saw last night, in the beginning of the second act, when I'm going mad about the underwear and all that, I slipped a disc in my back halfway through the show, and was in incredible amount of pain. And I had to still to finish that scene, but then they had to bring the curtain down, and I had to go off and brought the understudy on because I couldn't move. And I actually rang the Dancer on Ice physio, who I've known for 12 years now since I started. And she said, "Oh, come to the studios on Monday. I'll get you in, and we'll be able to work." And so it was really nice. I went down and I was really gutted because like they just resurfaced the practice rink and like I saw loads of the skaters that I knew. Oh, you're gonna get on? And I was like, I'd absolutely love to, but I can't actually move myself. So, but so it was nice to saw Chris and Jane and like a load of the people who were on this year's show. And it was great. Yeah,
people absolutely seem to love being on that, don't they? And
it's great.
That you go back to quite often.
It's weird. You kind of get in this bubble. I mean, I'm like super competitive by nature, so I just really wanted to be good at it. But like, you really are learning something, and it's like, it's not like you kind of like. I mean, obviously, if you go into Big Brother or you go to I'm a Celebrity, you're not really learning anything. You're doing what they're asking you to do, but like to actually go and be a figure skater is really difficult, and after spending so much time with like the pros and seeing what they do and how hard they work, like when I see anything on like the Olympics and stuff now, I'm like, that is so difficult. Like you don't realise how difficult that is. But it was a great experience. I enjoyed it.
Cool. So you've got just over a month, I think, isn't it, left on the tour of this? That's 6 weeks, end of April, I think.
End of April. I think we've just extended. So I think we've got a week. I think we finished the first or second week in May now.
That's cool. So have you got what's your plans for after? I mean,
none at the minute. I mean, I can't really because of the amount of work I've got to do in this show. I can't be heading off for auditions and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of get to the end of this. Might take a holiday for a little bit.
So probably a good idea.
But I mean, essentially, I'd love to it'd be great to have something lined up to go straight on to after this, but in this industry, it doesn't always work like that. You might have a few months off. Like to be honest, I started this and it was a really good as an actor when sometimes you're out of work a lot of the time. It was really nice to have a job starting in January, so like straight after Christmas you're into work and you're working for 3 months, 4 months. That's a really nice thing to have. But I mean, it would be nice to be going straight into something, but I mean, I've been doing this quite a while now, so I know that's not always the case, so I don't try not to get too...
So about musicals, because obviously you did just the two of us thing.
Long time ago.
So I've done my research.
Yeah.
So do you reckon that's something you might want to do? Because you did the Full Monty as well, didn't you?
I did, but again, that was a play, that wasn't a musical.
Well, I went to watch that a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't realise it wasn't a musical until I got there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No,
it's a great show though.
A lot of the people who are in the show are the same people that were in it when I was in it.
Yeah.
But Kai's a great mate of mine, Gary Lucy and Lewis and Andy are all amazing. Yeah.
It seems to be like if you're in Hollyoaks, you go in Full Monty. It's a bit like that.
But I mean, I did musicals as a child. I did Les Miserables twice. I was in Oliver. Yeah. The things I don't really sing as much as I used to, and it's like obviously I can still hold a tune, but it's so demanding to do a West End musical like 8 shows a week. Your voice has got to be so strong, and I don't train my voice anymore. I don't sing like with singing teachers, but maybe I never say never. I mean, I always wanted to do Les Mis again as an adult because I did it when I was a kid.
Never seen
and actually, you got to see it.
It's on here next year, I think. So.
But they, I always wanted to go in and play a character called Longeras, and I actually got seen for it. Like I think I went in 4 times.
Wow.
And I was like, because it was a thing for me. It was just like, because I kind of went for a few musical theatre auditions, and I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I want to kind of go down the alley at the moment. I'd rather explore like TV dramas and stuff, and like plays and stuff. But I said, if this ever comes in, I'd love to go for it, just because it would make my 10-year-old self
really happy.
So I went in and then did a few rounds of auditions, and then the last bit there's like a part of the show which is like pretty tough to sing. And like the first 3 times we did it, I was like, great, and then we did it the 4th time and the 5th time, my voice started to crack, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get this. I was like, I'm not going to get this. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll get that. I've still not ticked that off the list yet. So I'd like to do that at some point. Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to us today. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thanks very much. Nice to meet you.
And it's on, RainMan's on until the end of the week, I think, isn't
it?
Yeah.
Nuffield, I don't know, there's so many theatres in Southampton, I don't know which. What's ours called?
Campus, Nuffield Campus. Yeah, Nuffield Campus.
We've got matinee tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is it Wednesday tomorrow?
It is Wednesday tomorrow.
Wednesday tomorrow.
Yeah.
And a matinee on Saturday, and the rest are all 7:30.
So you can tell you're on tour, you don't know what
Come and
day
see
it
us.
is. Yeah.
Voice FM.